Perry said, there's 200 people working, 200, maybe 250 in terms of crew people, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
He worked so fast. We were shooting like 75 pages a day.
He
75 pages per day?
75 pages per day.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Movie Scenes in Great Books. I'm your host, Joy Victoria.
I'm Christina Harris, your co-host.
And today, we are so incredibly thrilled and excited to be having our guest joining us today. Today, we are joined by Hollywood legend, Mr. Richard Lawson.
Super amazing. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, my pleasure.
It means so much. We've been excited.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
we're super excited.
My pleasure. I'm so happy to be here. I'm here with my mentor.
Oh, right.
Please. The mentor of mentors.
Oh, my
y'all.
God.
Like, I'm not even kidding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much to talk about.
Yeah, so much to talk about. Let's just segue straight into what's going on lately, Mr. Richard.
Yeah. Well, currently I'm in the #1 movie globally called Divorce in the Black, which I'm so
number one in the world.
In the world. I'm so excited because, listen, when someone says, God, I've watched the movie 15 times, and a number of people have said that, it's like, okay, y'all like it, and it's really touching people. And I really love the character that I'm playing. Mm-hmm. And, it's so interesting because the character that I'm playing is a preacher and a father. Mm-hmm. And, and my wife, Debbie Morgan, to Megan Good, it's really a lovely family dynamic. You can see the love that they have for their daughter and the kind of people that they are. Yeah. And it reminds me a lot of your family, in terms of, because you all have been like incredible parents, I
appreciate that. We try. And I loved your monologue. I love that, but we'll get to that. Yeah. I don't want to get there too early.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm doing Divorce in the Black. Currently I have the Black Hamptons airing on BET+, the Miss Pat Show on BET+. I have a movie coming out called Aftershock, the Nicole Bell story, which is about Sean Bell, who got shot at 50 times on his wedding day, the day he was supposed to get married, in 2006 in Queens, and I'm playing Reverend Al Sharpton.
Oh, awesome!
And,
Go ahead.
Awesome.
And then I have a series coming out called Beauty in Black, which is a 16-episode series on Netflix, and that's coming probably in October.
Wow.
And then we just completed a script called The Third Act. That my advanced class at school, the PDP 3.0 class, we've been working on that for 4 years because we started with just an idea. I read an article in a paper in the 80s, and I always loved that article and what it was about. And it's about people in the third act of their lives and what they do, and it's a comedy and it's very funny. So we had a reading of the first draft. And I'm so excited about that. And there's so many things, in terms of I got 4 books that I'm writing.
Oh, my gosh.
Actually, a 5th one.
Is this real?
That just came up. 2 acting books called Show and Business, my memoir, and then an empowerment book of my precepts. Yeah. And then now that I'm doing this whole, ecosystem of the third act, I'm in the third act of my life. Yeah. And I just did a whole metamorphosis in terms of changing. A year ago, I was 280 pounds, and I've lost.
Good work.
I've lost like 60 pounds, and I just changed everything. And so it was like, I should be a mentor for other people who are in the second and third act of their lives, who want to change and who want to rehabilitate themselves and understand that dreams don't have expiration dates.
Yeah.
And because you're stuck in something, you can change it.
Yes, I love it.
Wow.
So I'm getting ready to go on a book tour, doing seminars about rehabilitation in your life, rehabilitating your life, and a masterclass tour acting with the books.
Beautiful.
There's no way he's
Amazing.
Operating on the same 24 hours.
He's not. He said he gets up at
simply no way.
4:30.
I get up at 4 a.m. no matter. I wake up at 4 a.m.
Since you were a teenager.
Well, when since I was a teenager, for most of my life, I only slept 3 hours. I mean, 8 hours. I don't know the concept of 8 hours. I don't. I don't ever remember sleeping 8 hours.
That's insane.
But I always had enough. And if I stayed there and went back to sleep when I got up, I was like groggy and tired. But if I get up when I wake up,
you're up and
I'm up. But what I found is that when you wake up and you hit that snooze button and you go back to sleep, your body starts another sleep cycle.
It's terrible.
Makes sense.
And therefore
that's why you feel tired.
That's why you feel tired, because when you wake up, you're not done with that sleep cycle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So just in terms of having such a busy schedule, so many people that you're encountering on the daily, like thousands of people through social media, through in-person interaction.
Probably millions now with the number
seriously,
one across the world.
Which we're going to get back to. But how do you stay present in your day? Like when you're interacting with people, how do you stay present without your mind constantly like rushing to the next task you have to do?
So that's actually a great question, and that is one of the challenges of organizing my life where I am present with what I'm dealing with. And I had my mentor, one of my great mentors was Milton Kitselis. And he had this concept about the way that he operated, because he was a Renaissance person. I see myself as a Renaissance person. I do a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's the asset and the liability. Now, so he would go and paint, which was one of his great loves. He was a great painter. I have paintings all over my house that he created. But he would paint from like 6 to 7:50. So 2-hour blocks. He would 6 to 7:50. At 7:50, stop it. He would start it at 6. And then between that time, it was completely focused on that and that alone. And he would stop it at 7:50. 7:50, he put his mind, he break, eat, drink, something, and at 8 o'clock, he started the next project, completely different thing. So he was a painter, he was a director, he was a writer, he was an architect, he was a photographer.
Wow.
And so he would put these blocks of time that if he would start it, change it, stop it. Start it, change it, stop it. And so therefore the challenge is, how do I focus on this, stop when it's time, get to the next thing, complete focus. And that's a challenge, and that means that you have to schedule. You got to know what you're doing for the next week or so, and for the next day it's like, this is my schedule for the day, and then you got to stay with that. And then even in terms of being present with people, you know what I mean, it's like it's how do we connect with people and just be present, which is important, just to, people will say that, why are you staring? I'm not staring. I'm really connecting with a person so that there is energy and there is communication and there's a real exchange that's happening.
Yeah.
And some people are comfortable with that. They'd rather for you to talk and look, all over the place. Rather than staying connected. And then people can't handle what they feel. Because you feel something.
Right.
And that energy is a vibration. Because everything at the end of the day is energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you are able to be present for the energy, amazing things happen. You now are able to perceive and see and feel, and be discerning.
Yes.
And so, it's, that's a challenge is being present and staying present.
Yeah.
But the one thing is that I'm really connected with my purpose.
Yes.
And so therefore my purpose runs through everything that I do.
Yeah.
And if it is not on purpose, then I'm not interested.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I'm interested in what other people do.
Yeah.
But again, if I'm someplace, is it there for me or am I there for it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Am I there in it's somebody else's thing? But if I'm on purpose, that means that I'm changing somebody's life, hopefully, or I'm exchanging good information, or the exchange is making me happy. I don't care if it's at the beach or whether it's playing basketball or golf or whatever it is. It's just about being present.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a love of life, and it is an attitude, it's a feeling, in terms of keeping your heart open and being positive about life. And here's a wonderful word. You know what paranoia is, right?
Yeah.
That's when you think the universe is conspiring against you.
Yeah.
Pronoia is thinking that the universe and knowing that the universe is conspiring in your favor and for
And
you.
that's what you put in that baby right there.
I love Joy because that's a proper name for her, and that's what she has. That's what she has. She's just like, straight ahead, and she's full of life and joy, and she spreads it, and and you can't help but to love her. You know what I mean? Anybody who would not love Joy, I don't want them nowhere near me. There's something dark and evil about them, or something that's just unknowing about them. They don't know who they are.
But you know what, Mr. Richard? I was just telling my husband this. The people around you that you have sent out, I mean, you have satellites of people. You can see them and talk to them all throughout Hollywood, all over up to Atlanta. And young, old, male, female. I talked to a few people. And when they talk about you, they want to tell you how long they knew you. Oh, I know Mr. Richard for 22 years, 23, not even 20. They're counting the years. And when you look at them when they're talking about you, it's complete adoration.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I thought it made you an enigma to me because I've been watching you hit pinnacles for so long and reinvent yourself and win and have so much success. And I'm thinking, wait, how can you have this much success and still cultivate long-term relationships so excellently? How did you manage to do that? I don't think I've seen that.
Well, first of all, let me just manage my emotion in terms of you saying that, because that's such a
beautiful
thing.
True.
And I'm so grateful to be to have that effect, and that is my purpose. Is in terms of my whole thing is about helping people to be their best self, and I was very clear that God put me on the planet to do that.
Yeah.
That's my.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that's my job. That's my joy.
Wow.
But that is it's a joyful thing for me to be able to help people open up a door for them to find the better part of themselves, and then to go on and then spread that to other people. Just pass it on.
And it's coming out. It's coming out of these people who are around you, and it's coming out in excellence. and it's coming out in goodness
Yeah.
toward other people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, many people.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
If whether they're an actor, actors in front of the
Producer,
camera, behind the camera,
yeah.
cinematographers, people who do lighting, Foley.
Wow.
I am a product of what's spilling off of your people.
Wow.
It's like so much that I know that I shouldn't even know.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
you know, and it's two verses that when I observe you, I think of. The first one is, it's a gift from God when a man enjoys his work. Because everybody don't enjoy their work. That's a gift
Ecclesiastes.
from God. And the second one is, there's a man who makes himself of not having much, but he has much. There's a man who just makes himself like meekness.
Yeah.
Meekness. That thank you, Joy. And I see that in your daughter too. I mean, she's just walking around beautiful and just like, you know, it's nothing. You know, and then there's a lot of people who say they do this and that for people, or they pour into people, but you don't really even make a door.
You don't even
make a
say
thing
it.
about, you don't
Like,
even say it about, oh, I'm holding this door open, but yet you've held doors open for many.
Yeah.
And you can see it, and you tell them, I'll be there for you.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah.
And when they ask you, you come.
Yes.
And yet you have the #1 movie in the world. You're working with one of the most coveted producers. I mean, just going to Cannes Festival over and over again, and hanging with Quentin Tarantino. And, I mean, how can, how
Right.
can you do this much and still touch and affect people's lives in a way that matters and makes a difference?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is.
Well, you know, I had the day that I realized that I was put on this earth to do this, it was the very first thing that I'd ever done, and it was a musical, and I had to learn how to sing, dance, and act, and it was on my birthday that it was like closing night,
Wow.
and I was in the middle of the final song called "I Ain't Bowing Down." And Golden Boy was the musical. And I had this epiphany that it was like I was spoken to, which is, you were put on this earth to do this. And I listened to that message. And then somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I ain't bowing down," you know, and it was like, and I turned back around, and because I had stopped singing the song, I was in my epiphany and my revelation, and I was like, wow. And then somebody tapped me, "I ain't bowing down." It was like, "I ain't bowing down," but from that moment to this one, I have been on vacation. I have been, you know, it's easy in terms of what it is I do, because it's what I'm supposed to do, and it's a gift to be able to do it.
It's a
you
gift.
know, my job is to find the good and praise it.
Yeah.
You know, and because you build strength where strength exists. I'm not that person that's about criticism. Even in my teaching, the word criticism doesn't exist. So some people will, you know, get their critique. In my world, you get a what?
Praise.
An assessment.
Oh, an assessment.
You get an assessment.
Like,
Which
you
is-
praising everything.
Well, yeah.
Never say critique.
Yeah, never say critique. It's an assessment. And what an assessment is just the benefit of my knowledge. And I share my
Okay.
knowledge with you, and you take from that whatever you wish. But I'm not I find what works, and we build on that.
Yeah.
I'm not finding what didn't work.
That's productive.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and yeah, it's productive because
Yeah.
people, you know, people can build strength where strength already exists, and you
Yes.
become greater.
Yeah. So let's talk about Divorce in the Black.
Yeah.
And your character Clarence. So firstly, I want to talk about the project as a whole.
Yeah.
And then what does your character Clarence mean to you and kind of represent to the world also?
Okay. So, interesting story. So, I think it was April 18th, which was a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, I prepare. My work ethic is pretty strong. I mean,
Yes.
I work hard.
It comes through your craft, yeah.
To be prepared. So I'm prepared. Sunday night, when I closed the script, it was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing a father, a loving father to a woman who was abused.
Yeah.
That was the character.
Yeah.
2:00 in the morning, ding, my devices ding. And it's like, wait, what is that? I look, 2:00 in the morning. It's a new script. Now,
That morning, the day
Is
of.
that the day you're
That's-
supposed to shoot?
that's the day I'm shooting. It's like 2:00 on the 19th,
Talk about
Monday
pivot.
morning, right? My character, Clarence, has completely changed. Now he's a preacher.
Oh,
With, opened the movie with this. You saw the scene.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Somebody
We saw
called
the
me
scene.
about it and said, he went too far. Like, that means he did a good job.
Yeah.
That
so,
preacher went too far.
yeah, he went there. But the point is that I had to completely rethink my character and create a whole new thing in hours. But I've been doing this for 50 some years.
Yeah.
And so it was just,
Yeah. You became that
it's like,
quick.
the title of my book is Process, Pivot, and Proceed.
Yeah.
Right? So I processed it, pivot, and I proceeded that night.
Master
But
of reinvention.
reinvention. You got to reinvent.
Yeah.
And so what does the character mean to me? Well, that character was truly important because he was a man of God. He was a loving husband and a loving father and a supportive father and a protective father. He wanted to keep his daughter safe, yet understand that she had to make her own decisions. And it was a difficult thing for him to deal with, the fact that his baby was being abused.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, what was so great is the fact that he represents the kind of father that people wish they had but didn't in some cases.
Yeah.
Or what's really great when I see in social media the people who come back and says, he reminded me of my father.
Oh,
And
good.
then I say, well, then you came from a very loving family.
did.
You know what I mean? And really, I mean, to tell the truth, that's the kind of environment you all have created for your kids.
Thank you.
Is that loving environment?
We trying about it,
where-
Grace.
Well,
I appreciate that.
well, God, you and God have worked well together, because Joy and your sons are an example of a loving, tight-knit family, and it's really, really clear. And so,
Thank you.
So the beauty of that for me is that here's an example and a model that Black people can look at and be proud of and say, wait a minute, we need to create more of this kind of relationship between siblings and parents, and stuff like that. And one of the things that I'm trying to create now is a Cosby-type show with me and Debbie as the loving parents of this crazy family, and deal with the challenges of.
It's time for that.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw another thing that I did called the Royal Family Holiday and the Royal Family Christmas, where me and Debbie were parents of.
Yeah.
This was like.
We
maybe
did.
5 or
And
6
you
years
were
ago.
stellar in that. It's just hard for us to.
So a holiday chance. Is the
Oh,
one.
that was that.
And
I was
that
gonna
one
say
too.
we didn't
Yes.
like the part when you had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Nobody liked
Nobody
when
liked
you
that.
get hurt, and even divorcing the black. Joe was like, "Oh, Oh no!
Everyone was
Joe wanted to jump in there with you and fight the family.
Yeah. Hey, look, every time I work with Vanessa Bell Calloway, my character dies.
Oh.
You gotta write a clause. No death clause.
What does she mean by that?
Yeah. No, it just so happens.
Miss Calloway.
We've been married. Vanessa's been my wife, I think, 4 times.
Wow.
Debbie's been my wife 4 times. I always live, and we have a loving relationship with Debbie. I always die
And
with
then you
Vanessa.
don't make it. Oh,
That's hilarious.
that's messed
hilarious.
up.
Yes. So
Too
pivoting back to just working on Divorce in the Black,
Yeah.
you've worked with Mr. Tyler Perry on numerous occasions. Yes.
Well, I worked with him in For Colored Girls.
Yes.
And I worked with him. I did an episode of the comedy, what's the name of the comedy series that he has?
Is it the Miss? The Miss?
No, there's
that's
another
not Miss
one.
Pat show. It's not.
It was one of his first comedy series.
Okay.
And then I did Divorce in the Black,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then Beauty in Black, which is
Yes.
coming up, and that's a crazy character.
Really?
Crazy.
That's a lot to say
Yeah,
after
yeah.
Divorce in the Black.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, he's completely. Well, I can't divulge
You can't-
too much.
No,
about
Yeah,
it, but,
don't. We're
you know.
gonna keep you
Yeah,
from spilling the beans.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So, what is it like working with Mr. Perry? Just like his work style and just how the sets are conducted. What's it like? Like, bring us onto a set with you and Mr. Tyler Perry.
Well, he is completely one of one.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he wants. First of all, when you drive into the Tyler Perry studio, you are driving into the most manicured. Everything is in place. The way that it's structured, the way that it's organized is like on point. It's 350 acres of just amazing possibilities in terms of filmmaking. It's everything that you could imagine is there. He creates a family dynamic. This was amazing because I've been in the business for 55 years, and so all the sets that I've been on, I've done over 200 and some shows.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, I've been on a lot of sets.
Yes.
And the majority of those sets were run. They were white productions. They had white producers, directors, writers, crew people.
So you've never
was
seen this.
95% white, you know, and then you saw like a handful of black people working on the show, and it was like, oh, okay, cool. Hey, brother, what's happening? How you doing, and so forth.
Wow.
On the Tyler Perry set, there's 200 people working, 200, maybe 250 in terms of crew people, right?
Wow.
95% is black.
Yeah.
In front and behind
Yeah,
it.
we need more of that.
And you see 5 white people walking together, and you say, okay, you know, that's a reverse,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He worked so fast. We were shooting like 75 pages
He
a day.
put, he
75 pages per day.
75
Yeah.
pages per day.
How many takes do you guys do of each?
1.
I thought he was kidding when he said that.
That's
No.
seriously one and done.
1, maybe a second. He will stop if he
Mr.
wants
Richard.
to fix something.
Was the opening scene of Divorce in the Black, was that a one take?
He spent a little bit more time
Okay.
on that.
Understandably.
You
Okay.
know, he spent a little bit more time
But not
on that.
much, I bet.
No,
He's
not
not
much.
wasting
no,
anything.
it was mostly in terms of making sure he got the shots he
Yes.
needed. But
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you know you're doing
Right.
a Tyler Perry show. You got to come ready.
Ready.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I show up, I'm ready. I know my lines,
Yeah.
and I know I've already worked on my character. So he uses a lot of people who know what they're doing. You know what I mean?
He
So
knew
I
when
show-
he changed the script on you day one. He knew he could.
He knew
could
what he
handle
did.
it.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew I was
He
going to
wouldn't
throw
do
down.
that to everybody.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
so-
remember taking Joy past his studio. My husband
This
would
is
take the
way
kids
back
when he was
in-
first
this is
building
like in
it.
2013.
So I'm sure it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I think in 2013 he was in a different lot. He was in a different.
Oh,
Yeah.
He sold that one, and he got this bigger plantation, explantation.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
Remarkable.
and no, he's turned that. Listen, he's an amazing man. He really is. I have gained so much respect for him because he just gives so many people opportunities. He pays people well. You know, he runs a family type of environment. You know, people, everybody there gets so close so quick that in each of the shows, the last 2 shows that I've done, you know, the people on the shows became like close knit and like extended family.
Wow.
That's
you
the
know,
best.
And
Yeah.
It's
and
kind of
that's-
like you.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
I feel like when you
Even-
can create that family environment,
That
that's the
culture.
best.
It is like
yeah.
a
that
family.
you feed
Yeah.
the culture.
Yeah.
And the culture is important.
Yeah.
You know, that's everything.
What creates that?
Well, it starts at the
Like
top.
that bonded, yeah.
No, Tyler is a man who has a chapel on the 4th floor of his house.
Really?
So the
Like a church?
In his
Like
house
church.
or his
a
studio?
church
In
no,
his house?
Wow.
Does he have
Amen.
a living pastor?
I think that he brings
Clarence.
people in, you know what I mean? I should probably preach it.
Get you ready.
I'm
is
ready.
so
You know,
cool.
people keep telling me I might have missed my calling because you know I'd be preaching.
Who knows?
And the fact
I
that
was
you
gonna
keep getting
ask
casted
you-
as a pastor.
Yeah,
Now maybe
And
that's
I
a week
was gonna
God.
ask you. I don't know what someone put in you, but even when I think of like you having everything, or when it says that a man who loves his work is a gift, why did God give you that? Like you survived a plane crash, you survived Vietnam. Like when I'm saying it, I'm like, is that right? Is that correct?
That's correct.
I mean, you're on your pinnacle again. Your kids are beautiful. Why do you think you have all these people that you encourage and teach? Why do you think God is good to you like that? Do you have something in your mind and your heart about you? Why is God good to you like that?
I wish I could.
Have you ever just pondered it? But you're so meek. I don't know if you would notice that it's just it's amazing.
You know, I suppose the conditions that I grew up in, you know, sort of sharpened me to endure and to be resilient and to know that, you know, because you know, when I it was a great lesson for me when we took 10 of our mentees to Africa, Naire.
Wow.
Yeah. Demarion was there, Micah.
They all went to Africa.
Wow,
for
that
the
was
year
nice.
of the return. Actually, it was the year after the return. And I went into the slave dungeons, the Cape Castle, the castle, they call it.
Yeah.
Dungeons. And
Yeah.
I had the experience of going down in those dungeons where they enslaved Black people and they forced them in there like cattle, and they would throw food down from this chute up there, and they had to grovel for the food. And this is the same floor where they defecated and you know, and eliminated, and then they had to get on that boat, and they were chained, and they laid flat, and
Oh gosh,
and they were
unimaginable.
chained underneath, and they had to for months while they crossed the ocean, and some survived and some didn't. And I looked at my great grandfather who bought himself out of slavery, and I you know, and then he bought his brothers and sisters out, and then he went and became a large landowner, and then he taught people how to sharecrop, and that one man can take 1,000 pounds of cotton to the gin, but 100 men taking 1,000
That's right.
pounds each, you know, and you go there as a conglomerate that you have more power. And then I saw the way my grandparents worked, and I saw the way my mother, she worked 16 hours a day for 16 years. And I saw the resilience, that word, the resilience of people being able to turn, excuse the expression, chicken shit into chicken salad.
Wow.
To turn manure into fertilizer. That I understood that is what I must do, is turn bad into good. I must turn and make everything is useful. Everything, even waste, has a use. That's what, gumbo is.
Yeah.
Gumbo is taking all the throwaways, the stuff that they didn't eat in the master's house, and they gave it to the
So you mean
enslaved.
every experience?
Every
is of use?
experience
Okay.
is in terms of turning it into something.
Okay.
And my life has been about turning everything into something. Vietnam, I was a medic. I saw the worst part of Vietnam. I saw people, I saw a pregnant woman who took a bullet to her stomach and there was no exit wound. So, the baby had to be the thing that stopped that bullet from going all the way through. And there's nothing that she could do. And she was Vietnamese. And so she had nowhere to go to handle that. I saw stuff. I've seen stuff. I've experienced stuff. And it's like, how do you turn that into power? How do you turn defeat into grace and give it to others? And my whole
Now
life
I understand.
has been about
I've heard you say, I'm not waste my life blaming somebody. I'm not waiting on anybody to do anything for me.
No.
I'm taking responsibility.
I'm 100% responsible for everything that happens to me.
You see the results?
Yeah.
That's a great
Mentality,
lesson.
Yeah, and that's the way you survive. And that's the way not only do you survive, I'm not just about surviving. I'm about taking this thing and turning it into good so that other people can understand what is possible.
And you were very clear not to alleviate, the wrong.
Yeah.
So those two things are very important. Not to alleviate
That's
the
such a
wrong,
good
but
point.
what do we got to do now?
Do something
Right.
about it.
For everybody, every
Such a
race,
good
every
point.
culture.
Yeah.
Because it takes all of us to heal those things.
Yeah.
And so when you said that, I remember that day, and I thought, okay, that's effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, listen, you can, happiness is a choice. You choose to be happy.
It's giving Justin, my brother, my oldest brother, my middle brother, that's his philosophy too. He's like, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice. Look, I said something to someone once, and it was very hard for them to really accept it. But it was like, my happiness does not depend on you. It's shared with you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't depend on anyone outside of myself. I have to choose to be happy.
Yeah.
And then I share that, and hopefully two things can share happiness. This here does not work.
Yeah.
Where, one person is empowered or in control of something. No, it's in terms of these two things having equal stance in life, and you can pull more. Look how much you pour into something when two people are pouring. This blocks the flow and life force of someone else. And so, happiness is like, I want you to be you, 100% you. I don't have to like everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not responsible for anything. I just want to pour in to add and to aid and to expand and to to create more possibilities.
And when you use that example with the cups, one on top, my mom would say, one tree growing and covering the other one makes the other one die.
That makes the other one die.
And my mother-in-law would say, two whole people coming together
Right.
is the key.
Is the key.
Yeah.
Is the key. It's two plates next to each other. It's not one plate. sitting on top of each other.
Yes,
It's only one
Joy
meal
ain't
with
having
that.
that.
Huh?
Joy ain't gonna have that.
No, she ain't gonna have that. No, she ain't gonna have that. She ain't having that. I can see her in conversations handling, okay, let me explain something to you. Can we talk?
That is so funny. All right, this brings me to another lesson you've taught me. You will recommend books, and you recommend the best books.
Yeah.
And I brought 2 books that you
Yeah.
recommended to me that have changed so much for me in my life.
Nice.
So, firstly, we have Life is a Contact Sport
Right.
by
Great
Ken
book.
Cragen.
Great book. Uh-huh.
And then we
I
have
love that book.
that book. And then we have Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson, which is just one of the greatest works of just Western society in general.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Do you remember what he said about genius?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
I love
but I
that
want you
quote.
to tell them. So
Okay.
let's talk about both of these and the biggest takeaways from both of these books and
Okay.
why you recommend it to people, your mentees.
Yeah. So life is a contact sport. So Ken Cragen was a manager, and he managed some Lionel Richie,
Yeah.
Bee Gees,
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers, and on and on and on.
That
And
that documentary was good, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
Lionel Richie did that. Yeah.
right. Oh, no, I
The
haven't
We Are
seen
the
it.
World. Oh,
I
Mr.
haven't seen it.
Richard,
I have
you
to
have
see
to
it.
watch
Ooh.
that.
I have to see it.
You
I
have
have
to
to
watch
say
it. Yeah.
that was one of the top documentaries.
Yeah.
It was so well done.
It was
Yeah.
about the making of We Are
Shout
the
out
World.
to
Yeah.
Lionel.
Okay.
Lionel.
You know how long it took him to put that together?
Quick, right?
Ken
Ken
Cragen
Cragen.
put that together in 1 month.
In 1 month?
In 1 month. He also did Hands Across America
He
Yeah.
did.
in 1 month.
Yeah.
So in terms of being able to turn something around,
I love
it's
that.
an intention, right?
Yeah.
Now, life is a contact sport, meaning that it's about people you know. It's about reaching out. It's
Yeah.
about, look, when you do a foundation, a nonprofit, I don't care what the nonprofit is for.
Yeah.
It could be for the most, ingenious, important thing
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
Kids in Africa or poverty or
Yeah.
whatever. What's going to make that thing work are the people who's carrying that message and who they know and who they communicate with and who they contact and bring
You're right.
on board to, because it's a people business.
So right.
It's a relationship business. Your career is a relationship business. We have what we call a relationship map. Who do you know? Everybody that you know. And they should go on, I call it, they're 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s, or 0s. 4s meaning people who will go to dinner with you. 3 will people who will return your call. 2 people that you know pretty well. 1 is somebody that you know, and 0 is somebody that you want to know. You got to communicate with those 4 groups 4 times a year.
And you remembering
4
all
times a
this.
year.
What do you eat? The whole time I'm watching your brain, and it is
It's in here.
detailed.
It's in here.
It's like, give me some of that. What are you eating? You are remembering this in detail.
Yeah.
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 Oh, listen.
All of those numbers.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, so that's system 0.
When you love what you do, I still remember.
That's right.
I
That's
still
that
remember
gift.
monologues from the very first play that I did.
No way.
They met on the banks of the Potomac, the rich, the great, and the strong. It's impossible to tell you. You should have been there and seen it all. They came by train, by plane, bus, and by car, bicycle and tricycle from there
So
very
you,
far.
you can rap too.
I can-
You can
Hey.
rap. You said, I want to hear
You're
Mr.
not
Richard.
leaving no stone unturned.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
in
but
terms
circling
of-
back to,
the book. So the great thing about that book is really it's showing you how to do the business of the business.
Yeah.
Strategies that it's about taking something. How do we sell this cup and make it like the Chia Pet? The Chia Pet. You remember the Chia
Yeah.
Pet, or you remember the Pet Rock?
I heard the word. I don't
Pet rock.
remember them
the
selling
pet
it.
rock. Somebody was able to take a rock and call it a pet and be able to market it where you would get your pet rock,
Wow.
a rock, and it became like huge,
Yeah.
huge. The chia pet, huge. It's about marketing.
Yes.
It's like, so how do I market myself to what qualities do I have? What is my authenticness that I can share with others?
Yeah.
You know, like that's what my whole thing right now
Authenticness.
in terms of my reinventing
Wow.
is social media. So if you go on my social media, you'll see me working out. You'll see me, dancing.
They should have never gave you that. I said, you gotta hold it. Day one when Joy showed me, so they shouldn't have gave you
I was
that.
like, the
He gonna
internet
know
is
how to
on
use
fire
that.
now.
Exactly. He
Yeah,
lighted it
yeah.
up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying, but it's all for a bigger purpose. But,
Yeah,
I'm trying to
right.
get people,
For sure.
to take a look at a number of
Yeah.
things.
And when you say that bigger purpose, don't ever think that people don't see.
Yeah.
You're doing things. I remember walking in any event late. And this is the truth. And I would always say, and I love excellence. And so I would say, you teach professionalism along with all these other things. And I would tell my kids and my husband, well, it was kind of diva like if I think about it. Well, I'm just late. I walked in that event late and you cut your eyes real quick. It might have been 1 second. And that's the day I was like, late is ugly. And I learned so
Because you miss
anybody
stuff.
who has that problem like me, remember late is ugly. And I
always say, Mr. Richard, don't play late.
Didn't I get better? Joy, didn't I get better? I got better.
Thank you. You did get better.
And my family
from that.
appreciates you doing that. So I'm saying it's little things.
Yeah.
And when your motive is what on purpose, it is.
Yes.
It is working and changing. Even these books,
Yes.
even other
Yes.
books that you recommend
Yeah.
to her.
Yeah.
I learned so much.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that book,
Yes.
Self-Reliance, he's a brilliant writer, and he talks about things that you can use in your everyday life to understand and to heighten and to bring greater awareness. One of my favorite things is that he says that just to bring it on, it's a bigger statement because he says is that one of the great things that genius is following your first impression with good-humored inflexibility, even when the whole cry of voices is on the other side. So what is true for you,
Wow.
to believe that what is true for you, that you have to follow that with good-humored inflexibility, because somebody's always going to be trying to change it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Wow. Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm good. Well, you got to understand that you got to stop people who are trying to change your your impulse, your ideas. Even when the whole world is saying you're wrong, you hold on to your truth.
Wow.
And that takes an incredible amount of courage to do so.
It does.
He also says that one of the highest things that you could have and one of the hardest things that you can do is to be yourself when the rest of the world is trying to change you.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's in terms of, that's why I can hear that conversation, 10 years from now when somebody says, yeah, Joey, so-and-so, yeah. I'm good. Thank you. Can you take me home?
Yes.
Here, take me home. No.
Right now.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
that's so important. It reminds me of Oprah Winfrey. and when she says, be you.
Yeah.
Be the best you.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
God forbid, there's nothing greater than the best you.
Yeah.
There's nothing greater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your humor, your charm, your irony, your
Yeah.
joy of life.
Yeah.
You know, it's all this.
And I think this book has just helped me fulfill, paying attention to that first impulse, because even with me and her, we work together a lot. And
I know. I've seen it. I was on your show. Yeah. I saw how you were like, I was saying, damn, is that her mother? Can you get the thing and bring in the such and such? And so I was like,
said, see,
oh.
Mr. Richard said, you getting
I
a
know,
little
she was like,
sassy.
you getting a little,
Yeah.
I got a talking to after that. Yeah.
I said, he's saying something that
Yeah,
you're getting
she's like-
sassy.
yeah. And truthfully, this book helped me because a lot of times me and my mom will bounce ideas off of each other. And sometimes she has the most like avant-garde, crazy, where did you get that idea from?
Yeah.
And then sometimes my instant thing sometimes can be to, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, what are you
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about, mama?
Right, yeah.
And this helped me just like, don't reject her first impulse
Right.
because that's her genius.
Right.
And it will prove to be something genius.
Yeah.
And she
And,
started
like,
saying
yeah.
that quote to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she started hearing me different.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
it start giving me confidence, like what you were saying about
Yeah.
when people go, oh, you're going to do this or you're going to wear.
Yeah.
Because I get that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to stand in
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
I've learned that
Yeah.
it was okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you change it, you don't find out that it was good.
Yeah. If you look
Yes.
at the people who, are creative like that and who can mind expand, because you ask the next question and it doesn't just stop in one place.
next
You may not
question.
wind up with where you started, but
True.
at least it's opening these doors to other things. And it's like, let it go, and let each other go.
Yeah.
And yes, and it.
Yeah.
The book that I'm working on, there was like 5 people. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 6 of us. For 4 years, it was nothing but, yeah, that's a great idea, And we can also think about, so that's honoring somebody's idea and adding to that, and then removing what we don't need because we've looked at it, and so we see how it expanded, and then we could put aside,
Right.
not throw away, but put aside the stuff that doesn't fit, because we may come back to that thing. But you are honoring the creative process that everyone has, which is slightly different.
And
And
when you speak like that, I can tell you're a pro at being in creative spaces. I can tell that you are at the
Not
top
everyone gets the
level
artist's
of
mind.
being
Yeah.
in creative
Yeah.
spaces.
And I
'cause you
think,
need that there.
even like, I feel like God gives you dreams that sound crazy to people when you articulate it out loud, and like just holding on to that, follow it with good humored inflexibility. I love that because it's like you can laugh at what God told me is true, but it's true, and just remembering that gives you the confidence to move forward. Like it's just life changing.
Sure. I heard Reverend T.D. Jakes say, if your dreams are not laughable, then it isn't worth the paper that it's printed on.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And like this book, Hands Across America,
Yeah.
that sounds crazy.
Hey, look.
Yes.
I did it. I had to go all the way out to, to almost to Palm Springs,
when it-
because the line was all the way out there, and we
My
joined the
teacher was
line
like,
in
we're
front
going to
of.
stand here, and I'm thinking this ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm
Insane.
like out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even with your third act,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing when you have it here
Yeah.
and then it manifests.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that a beautiful part
It is.
of what you do?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
In terms of trying to figure out, when you figure out, you keep asking the next question. For example, in the script, the writer says, the character is drunk. Okay. How drunk? What are they drinking?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they drinking?
Why?
What kind of drunk are they?
Mm-hmm.
And you keep asking those questions, and the
The
thing
depth.
keeps
Yeah.
growing
Yeah.
and growing, and you know more and you know more until it's like, yeah, that right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you don't stop
Yeah.
the interest or the curiosity or whatever. You just keep letting it expand.
Yes.
And then, because you can always pull it back.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can always you should cut the cloth too long.
Mm-hmm.
Do you sew?
I used to.
So you made patterns?
Yeah, I have made patterns.
So if you make a pattern and the pattern is too short, then it's not going to fit the person that you're making it for. So you got to give it away or make it for someone else. So you cut the pattern too big.
Yeah.
So that you can
cut the fabric
cut it down
bigger
to
than that
fit
pattern.
You cut the fabric bigger than the pattern, so you can cut it down. You have room for error. You have room to make it, tailor it exactly the way it should be.
Yeah, and learning these things, again, I appreciate it because it's made us really better writers, way better.
Yeah.
Yes.
fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Asking
The
the next
education that
question,
you
that's,
gave us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Through books,
Yeah.
just made our writing
Yes.
just.
Yes.
Did you all ever get My Story Could Beat Up Your Story?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 Who needs film school?
Man.
Yeah.
That.
Did you ever get Contour?
I haven't heard of that one yet.
Not
Contour is the software that is the sister software to My Story Can Beat Up Your Story.
Is it?
So cool. I didn't know.
Yeah. It's actually very helpful because what it will show you in this framework is other films, and it'll show you how other films
Contour.
were broken down and follows the pattern of the setting up the first act, the second, third act, your heroes into your protagonists. Who is your protagonist? What compelling thing does your protagonist want? Who has an equally compelling reason to stop your protagonist? And what happens if they don't get there?
Yes.
You look at the journey of the wanderer, warrior, martyr.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The orphan,
wanderer, warrior, martyr.
Yeah.
Hero.
Hero.
We even get really into it. Where you start with the innocent, then the orphan, then the wanderer, then the warrior, then the hero. And that's from you.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
so it made us enjoy writing more and just really be technical
Right.
screenwriters.
Yes.
And I
Nice.
appreciate that.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to grab something before we get into it. Before we land it and get into our last question, I have to grab something.
Going to get what's that important that you have to leave the whole set, Joy?
Yeah.
Where did you go get?
What did I go get? Hold it this way.
Okay.
I can't. So, let me fix my headphone. Okay, so Mr. Richard, recently you were honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about all the iconic roles you've done and just like your whole career, and I could never capture it. I could never nearly capture it in a collage, but I worked on this collage for you with some of your roles throughout your career.
Oh, wow.
And I just loved making
Look
this.
at
It was
that.
just- look at you, Mr. Richard.
That is
My dad is
so
gonna be stoked that you over there with MacGyver.
That is so amazing.
Look at you, Mr. Richard. Just like
Look
Whoa.
at
iconic
this.
role after iconic role.
Look at
That is
iconic
good.
that is so. Thank you. That is just,
You're welcome, Mr. Richard.
wow, that's amazing.
Like, look at
How do you
that.
feel when you see that?
Well, it's so interesting that this. First of all, this is the amount of thought and work that went into this was just really incredible, and I'm very touched that you took the time to do this. So in my house, I have my career on the wall.
Wow.
So I have posters. I have photographs.
Yeah.
And stuff up, for the purpose of I want to be reminded my space, my home, when I walk in the door, speaks to me. And so when I see the characters here, you know, they speak to me. It's like, especially if I'm like in a, you know, I'll look up and one of the posters would say, yo, what's up? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Look at all this work that you did.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. You remember that? You overcame this. You did that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And it'll get
Yeah.
me going. So it's like, it's sort of like a womb of positive
Encouragement.
affirmation of the fact that don't hold your head down for nothing. Just
Wow.
keep it moving.
Yeah, we
you
need
know?
that at times.
And this is going to fit so beautifully on my wall. And it'll be right in front of me, where it's like, there it is. There it is. Yeah. Wow. Thank
Do you have a favorite?
Welcome. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
Yeah.
I don't, because I don't do anything unless I love it.
Wow.
And so
you
I
love it all.
I love each of these
That's
characters
saying a lot.
in a very different way.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
so,
It's
so
like,
funny. Again, it's a gift when you love your
just
work,
love it all.
because a lot of people cannot say that.
no.
Even in whatever they do, when they're working, it's like, it's work. You
Yeah.
hear everybody, it's work, it's work, and you love them all.
I've never worked for money. I've turned down large sums of money.
When did you learn that?
Yeah.
Well, mentors, you know, mentors. You know, I've had enough people to tell me that, you know, listen, if you're doing something that you can't share with your children or you can't be proud of, that money runs out real quick.
Wow.
And then you're left with that thing for the rest of your life. Because somebody's going to always come along and say, yeah, you know, man, I saw you in in that thing. Yeah. How you doing? You all right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
scary.
We got it.
Basically, yeah,
Lesson learned.
you weren't very good. but,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I saw it, and it's out there. and it's
no.
it'll
no.
never go away.
Yes.
So,
Oh no!
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
I never thought of
Yeah.
it like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's true.
So therefore, I don't work for money. So, you know, listen, I remember I was up for a really big series, guaranteed. It was like, it was guaranteed 22 episodes on ABC. I went over there and auditioned, killed it. And it was a chemistry read. So they have like 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 characters, and they put people together and they see how the vibe is, you know. And I came out and I was sitting, and the casting director came out and he says, come here, let me talk. I went over, he says, man, they love you. They love you. This is your part. Your life is going to change
Wow.
forever. You're going to, oh my God. But one thing, can you be more black?
Wow.
And I said,
What does that say?
By
What
that.
does that mean? Yeah.
I took a minute and I thought about it, and I said, I'm thinking, well,
Wow. That's
and
interesting.
then it hit me. It's like, oh, they want me to be a clown. They want me to, like, you know, be that typical character that we've seen before, by the way,
Yeah.
which they all wrote those characters because early on, all the writers were white men. And so, like the Amans and the
Wow. Really?
Jeffersons and those were all white writers. Jefferson was a black show, but it was all white writers, right? And so the humor and the comedy was really for white people.
Wow.
black people would write, it would be real different.
Well, this
And
is
so-
why I loved your monologue.
Yeah.
Here's a black father
Yeah.
saying, you didn't see me treat your mother like that.
Right.
I showed you how to treat a woman.
Yeah,
I opened the door for her.
Right.
I love her.
Which I still do today.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking from the truth in
Yeah.
terms of me being a gentleman. That's a
Yeah.
lost art.
That
You
was
know?
And that's not what's been
great
portrayed
example
throughout
for people who
film
don't
history.
know.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it's like, so every character that I do, I don't do it to get money.
Yeah.
Is not my deciding factor. It's do I love this part, and so all those parts I love.
I wonder if that makes you go like further
Yeah.
and be more successful at what you do.
It makes you.
I'm curious.
It makes you have a longer, satisfying career. It doesn't necessarily make you go further.
Liberated.
Fulfilling.
Because some of those jobs that they pay you well, you'll
Might
go
not be
further,
happy.
Yeah.
but you'll be in a show that's like, hey,
You're not fulfilled.
No.
Yeah, because you don't believe
You don't
in it.
feel
Yeah.
free.
No,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know that you gotta, it's
Yeah.
transactional.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
gotta be this clown or whatever they're
Yeah.
expecting,
Yeah.
or play this,
Yeah.
and I have fought for the characters to
Yeah.
the point to where,
Powerful.
Messages
Yes.
that the media sends
Yes.
really can have a. I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
a quote, but I don't.
You control images, controls
Who
mind.
controls images, controls minds. So you understood that.
I totally understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I totally understood that, and I've
Yeah.
understood that from the day that I
The
walked
mind
into the
control of
business. Is
that.
is the fact that it's not. I'm not trying to put out stuff that's going to perpetrate,
This image.
ways for us to remain enslaved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been a big issue for me in
Yeah.
terms of that.
Very good.
Yeah. Mr. Richard,
Very good.
thank you so much for taking your time to be here. You told me that you would come under the condition
So present.
that I did something. Do you remember what you asked me
What
to
did
do?
I say?
You told
When
me.
did I say this?
You said this
Years ago?
a few weeks ago.
Oh, I did. What?
You told me that you would come here to be interviewed today under the condition that I sing.
Oh!
He was like, I can teach you how to sing. What you about to do?
you
That's why you forgot.
I did. Because I promised you that if you came, I would.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about, integrity.
That's your students.
Oh,
your satellites you got
my
everywhere.
And I'm
God.
so nervous, but
Oh,
I'm going to sing for you. But I'm so nervous right now. So, okay. Tell me when to go and I'll go.
Okay, let me
What?
just say this. Let me say this. This ain't about no perfection. Just by the fact that you have the courage to do it says a lot. So don't make it perfect and don't be looking at whether it's going well. Just sing from your heart.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter what it comes out like.
All right. I'm going to take these off because I don't want to hear myself in the mic. All right. Okay. I'm living proof of what the mercy of God can do. And if you knew me then, you believe me now. He turned my whole life upside down. He took the old and he made it new. That's just what the mercy of God can do. Now I'm alive to tell the story, how I've overcome. It's His goodness and mercy and the power of His blood. I'm so glad that my freedom, it wasn't based on what I've done. It's His goodness and mercy and the power of His blood. Thought I deserved.
Take your time and go to church. Take your time.
6 feet beneath the earth. For all the things I've done, the things I've said, the choices made that I regret. Oh, I would still be lost, but for the mercy of God. Now I'm alive to tell the story, how I've overcome. It's His goodness and mercy and the power of His blood. I'm so glad that my freedom, it wasn't based on what I've done. It's His goodness and mercy and the power of His blood. It's His goodness and mercy and the power of His blood.
Oh my God! Oh my God! That is so. It was beautiful.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. I had to do it.
You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Do you take lessons?
No.
You should take lessons.
Really?
Because your chest voice, you have a deeper voice.
She does.
And to trust your chest voice and connect with your diaphragm and your breathing, there's even a greater sound. Now, this is already a beautiful sound. You can totally deal with that. But your talking voice and your singing voice is slightly different.
Wow.
And you have a beautiful chest voice.
Thank you.
If you just learn how to trust and get there.
Thank you.
That is such a gift. Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Your
Mr.
courage
Richard.
to do
Yeah, that was great.
and your integrity, that you maintain your sense of integrity, and you said, "I'm gonna do what I said." That is so. Oh my
Johnny
God!
gave 2 thumbs up.
Oh my
Thank you.
God!
Thank you, Mr.
That's
Richard.
so great.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
I'm about to
Richard.
get you, Mr. Richard. Now,
I know.
Your turn.
Next time he got
But we
Mr.
didn't make
Richard
that
come.
deal with you, huh? So next time, you got to sing.
Yes.
I'll sing.
Yes.
Next
But
time.
you do stuff at
Yes.
the drop of a
That
dime.
I do.
doesn't scare him, Mom.
I don't.
Joy said if
you.
we ask him that, he's going to say, "What have you done for me lately?"
No, you know what? I'll sing. I'm gonna sing a few bars of
I knew you was going to
something.
do it.
You know. Okay. I love you for sentimental reasons. I hope you do believe me. I've given you my heart. I love you. You alone were meant for me. Please give your loving heart to me and say we'll never part. Okay. That's
Wow. I know that was this is going to be iconic.
Do something to me. I don't ever cry. I'm not crying at that.
Yeah.
It was so good. Thank you, Mr. Richard. It means so much that
Yes,
you
yes.
showed up to come here today
Yeah.
and just how you're such a light
Yeah.
in everyone's life who knows you.
Yeah.
You're such a light.
Thank
Such
you.
a force, and it's such a blessing to know you, Mr.
Man, the
Richard.
pureness in all of your relationships is really, really rare. Really, really rare. And it's something that when you meet people who know you, you take notice of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
God
Thank
bless you. Continue to bless people.
Yes.
And we appreciate you. Yeah.
I will always show up for you.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Movie Scenes and Great Books. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time. Bye-bye.